Hey guys, here for another installment of Casket Conversations. Today is actually going to be pretty exciting. I've got a really good friend with me today. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming out. He's got a project that he's working on. And like I mentioned in the last podcast, you know, he's really smart and ingenious, and I'm really excited about, you know, his work and what's coming up and coming out. And so this should be a pretty exciting episode. His name is Steven Gazinski, and here he is.
Hi.
So.
Sorry, I don't sound like I'm from Melmac.
Yeah, right.
Owl's Planet, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, right. So.
Don't worry, I won't eat all your cats.
Yeah, exactly.
Only a third of them.
Yeah, just a third, you know. I guess we got to leave some around, just, you know, for the hell of it.
Only my friend Brianna's cat I'm keeping.
Yeah, exactly. So, for the people out there that don't know anything about you, why don't you let them know a few things before we get into this awesome interview session?
Oh, dear. I'm a handsome 6'2".
Yeah.
Well, I'm a 6'2" brooding mess of a man. I'm a, where the hell do I start? Well, you and I met, because we had mutual friends. You actually live near the college where I graduated from.
Yeah. It was SCU, right?
Yep, Southeastern University,
yep.
Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah.
We have a lot of mutual friends there.
Yeah, lots.
Who are alumni.
Mm-hmm.
Some of whom I actually got the pleasure of working with, and done classes with, and some I've actually gotten to do productions with. Our good mutual friend Brian O'Connor.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of doing a film with him a number of years ago.
Yeah, that's great.
He got to stand my antics.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I've gotten, but since I have graduated from there a number of years ago, I have gone on to become an independent filmmaker. Yeah. Producer by necessity.
Yeah.
But I've become a director and writer.
Yeah. But this is something
I started out in acting and writing, but I've become a producer and a director.
But this is
by necessity.
Yeah, this is really something that you've always wanted to do, though, right?
No.
No.
I wanted to act. I just wanted to do theater, and then I got dragged into film by my film instructor.
Wow.
To be one of his minions. He laughed at me. He's like, "Oh, you're going to make a film this year." And I laughed. I looked at him. I said, "DeBoard, I'm not even a film major." And he just got this evil grin. He has the goatee.
Yeah.
You know, some people with the goatee, they get this grin.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And
yeah.
you know that, and he gets this grin, and he goes, "We'll work on that." And then I became one of his film minions.
Wow.
And now,
wow.
I am, to quote, the toughest cop on YouTube, according to him.
I definitely think you are. That's for sure.
Well, he wrote on my Facebook wall quoting that when he wished me a happy birthday last year. So
that's nice. Cool. That's cool. Yeah. So let's get into talking a little bit about your series. Now, this is something that you've been working on for quite a while, hasn't it? I mean, at least since your SEU days.
It's been 2 years since I started shooting it.
Yeah.
I've been developing it for about 3.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of bumps in the road.
Yeah.
To put it mildly.
Now, the series is actually called Cops and Cons, right? And it's...
the mini-series is Cops and Cons of Psychiatric Files.
Right,
it's actually part of a franchise, for lack of a better word, I'm trying to develop.
For sure.
It started with a pair of short films that I started in 2011.
Yes, yeah. Which,
while I was in school.
The links that we have for your stuff, just to let everybody know, will be in the description of this video. So, you know, after this is done, if you're interested, definitely go check it out, because it's really, really great. But Or, you could go watch it and come back, and that way maybe you get a little bit different from that. You can always do that too. But so it is called Cops and Cons: The Psychiatric Files, and what was the inspiration for that exactly?
I love cop shows. Actually, part of it is because I was raised by a pair of cops. My parents left the law enforcement before I was born.
Yeah.
A little bit after they got married, they joke about it. They met in a police car.
Wow.
My dad jokes about it. He says, "Oh, she was in the front and I was, and my mom," and he leaves it off intentionally to make people think, "Oh, he was in the back," because she arrested him. But of course, my mom hits him. She goes, "No, you were in the front too. Don't be a jerk." She was actually his training officer at the time. This was a number of years ago.
Right. So
that kind of inspired me, and of course I grew up on stuff like Magnum PI, Hill Street Blues, and then now we have stuff for our generation like Blue Bloods,
Oh, for sure.
NCIS.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Blue Bloods fan. I mean, you can't go wrong with Tom Selleck, and that big, beautiful mustache.
I mean, I grew up on Magnum PI because I watched it with my grandmother.
Right.
And then now he's on Blue Bloods, and I'm like, no, well.
Yeah.
6'4", awesomeness.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you have any long-term plans for Cops and Cons? I mean, what does that look like? I mean, do you have an overall, bigger picture? I mean, I know you're hoping to turn this into a franchise and stuff, but there is a vision, there with all of that.
I do want to make a TV series, a long-term TV series, and possibly do more stuff with it down the road, with the characters. I am working on storylines with it. After the miniseries is done, I'm working on a short film.
Oh, cool.
That's actually longer than the ones that we already have. It's running. I'm hoping the approximate running time of it is going to be about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer.
Right.
Depending on how much we shoot and how long it's cut.
Right. Yeah.
And editing time.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be because of studio interference. It's going to be because how long it takes to tell the story and how long.
Oh, for sure.
How
Definitely.
well the story is taught.
Yeah. Now.
It's full.
Now, as you mentioned, you went to Southeastern University, and that's kind of where all of this kind of started. And you did end up making some short films, didn't you?
Beg your pardon? What was that?
Oh, sorry. Did I lose you there for a second? Yeah, I was just saying you did go to Southeastern University, and you did end up making some short films. And moving forward with the franchise and everything, are the short films going to be canon, or are you kind of starting fresh? Okay.
They absolutely are canon. Actually, the first one that I actually shot is actually the events of that short film lead into the psychiatric files. They actually are what start the psychiatric files off.
Okay, cool.
Fallen. And then Stakeout actually takes place 2 years before Fallen. So if you want to go chronologically how the story takes place, Stakeout takes place first.
Yeah.
And then it's a little confusing because we had to recast certain characters, which kind of sucks.
Well, yeah, definitely.
That's because time passed and actors moved on. One of the actresses, the first one moved actually to New York, and she's got a very successful makeup business and such.
Oh, wow, yeah.
She's doing quite well. I talked to her not too long ago before we started shooting this. And she's doing very well for herself. She's awesome.
Oh, well, that's good. That's always nice to hear, that people you've worked with have moved on to be, successful in their own other, areas of life, if you will.
Yeah, she's great.
So now...
I try to keep in touch with people as best I can.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got to ask, so now this is your series and everything. So you talked about earlier about you being a writer and stuff. So is that the only thing you do on the series? Do you just write it, or do you do anything else, or
I do too much.
too much? Huh?
I do too much. I do a lot of stuff. I've directed all but one episode of the miniseries. The sixth episode, which will probably be the best episode because I didn't direct it.
Well,
I directed all the episodes. I, of course, play the lead character of Detective Jack Morris,
yeah,
who is the main lead
yeah, wow,
character.
yeah, and from
Originally, he wasn't intended to be the lead character in
really?
the franchise, but
yeah, really, what
stuff happened.
We'll talk about that. Like, what was the what was the original vision going into this thing?
Originally, he was supposed to be just a mouthy sidekick.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be a male lead, yeah, but it was supposed to be more focused on the Nicole Roberts character.
Oh, wow.
But that kind of changed. Now she's kind of, she's still an important, integral character to the story, but things kind of shifted, and now he's kind of the glue that kind of holds that story together.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do a lot with her in the miniseries. She actually has the most appearances out of the guest characters.
Well, that's cool. That's good. Yeah.
And we have wonderful actors coming in to play her Andrea Gentry, where she's in the first episode and she's in a number of episodes.
Very
she does
cool.
a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Great to work with.
Yeah. Now, so you say that the character you're playing is Morris. That's his name. It's
yeah.
Jack Morris, right?
His
So
full name is John Theodore Morris. So
okay.
you can understand why he goes by Jack.
Yeah, I could understand that. So I gotta ask, in creating all of this universe and everything, and this world that you kind of set up in Cops and Cons, are there any particular figures or characters that Morris is inspired by? Like what went into your creation of the character?
Originally, Jack was supposed to be more of a 1940s gumshoe type character.
Right.
But things kind of changed because I saw that didn't really fit into the world that we have now. That wouldn't have been as widely accepted.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't want to whitewash the character. He has old-fashioned values. He sees certain things in very black and white type terms.
Yeah.
Like he has people's backs if he needs to, but any particular characters that he sees, as I said, he's very conservative in his values, but he still is willing to bend the rules.
Right. Yeah.
As I said, I'm a very huge Magnum PI fan, so he's very pro-military and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
He has a respect for those types of characters.
Yeah.
I actually have a line somewhere in a future script I hope to produce where he makes a reference to Magnum.
Huh. That's cool. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
He has other detective heroes. There are definitely Sherlock Holmes, that he's very observant about everything.
That's cool. Yeah,
he's a
definitely.
profiler in certain ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So
so
that kind of thing. He's not a complete sociopath, though, as Sherlock Holmes is.
Well, of course.
If you're true to the character in the books.
Right.
And the original Conan Doyle stories.
Right. That's interesting. So all of this getting up off the ground has got to be rather exciting. So what has it been like to see the characters that you've created slowly coming to life? Is that a pretty exciting thing?
It's exciting. It's kind of cool to actually cast these characters. It's kind of cool. One of the exciting things is to watching auditions. This is one of the few joys I get as a producer, is to watching auditions and seeing other people say the words that you write down.
Yeah.
And when you finally get that person, the right person, it just clicks.
Right.
And then you get to work with them on set.
Right. That's
and
cool.
Play with them.
Yeah.
Because originally actors were called players, not actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get to play with them, and it's kind of a neat thing to experience that. So it's a very exciting aspect, no doubt. And also with Psych Files, you have a wonderful actress to play off of, Sherry, who's playing Dr. Madison Scott, who is the psychologist that Morris goes to go through his go to for his sessions.
For sure.
And she's a wonderful actress.
Yeah. Which
this is a major big role for her.
Wow.
This is the first series she's done.
Well, that's interesting. That's really
she's
exciting.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Which that kind of leads me into another question I have, which is, what is it like working with the cast of the Psychiatric Files?
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you have that cast and you click with them,
yeah,
it's a blast. I've not had my rule as a producer is to up your cast every new production.
Right.
And I've managed to do it.
Yeah.
It's been hard.
Oh, I imagine.
Because I've had really good casts, but
Yeah.
it's been a blast each time, and each cast member is so unique. But we've had so much fun with them. I have favoritism because I've gotten to work with them more on certain episodes.
Right.
Like Cher, I get to work with her in every single episode.
For sure, yeah,
Or
exactly.
with Andrea, because I've worked with her on a lot more episodes than, say, an actor who's been in one episode.
Yeah.
But they've all been very good, and I've gotten to tweak their performances as a director.
Right.
But
so it sounds like you've been pretty lucky with the experience so far. You've gotten a good cast there for you and a good team, surrounding this whole project.
It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near to say it's been an easy experience, but it's been worth it.
Right. Well, so were there any behind the scenes issues while filming? I mean,
loads.
Yeah.
We could do a whole podcast of all the behind the scenes issues, but I'll go over a couple since you asked.
Yeah.
We went through 3 different actresses. Cher was the third actress we casted as Dr. Scott.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I'll give the story of how we ended up casting Cher. We'd been through 3 different actresses. This was after the second actress had dropped out. Cher had sent me an email a week before.
Wow.
And the second actress dropped out. And I said, and Cher sent me her email and such. And Cher and I had been talking for a couple of weeks because we connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I saw some of her stuff, and I watched an episode of something she had worked on. And I was like, oh, she's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This is not a coincidence. Something meant for this to happen.
Yeah,
Call
definitely.
it God, fate, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I messaged her. I'm like, hey, our lead actress, you want to work on it?
Right.
And
Yeah.
she and I, we sat down for a face-to-face meeting, which I hadn't done with any of my other cast members.
Yeah.
Except for the first actress. And then I ended up casting the first actress for Scott for another role, and she was actually tailor-made for that role. Whole other story. But met with Cher, had a really good meeting, and the rest is history.
That's cool.
She was fabulous.
Yeah.
And you've seen her.
Yeah.
You've gotten to watch the episodes.
Yeah.
Thus far.
She's been fabulous as the character, I mean, as you said, we've known each other for, a couple years now, and, I've kind of been there a little bit along the way with you, and it's interesting to see, what's on paper actually coming to life on screen, especially all of that's happened. And yeah, it's just she's just really brilliant and really great as the character. I mean, I really hope um, to see the future episodes and see where the character goes and see how she interprets what's on the page and everything, because um, when all of this very first started, that character was definitely a little bit different in my head, reading what you had sent me and stuff. And so, but I think it's worked out so much for the better than, what was in my head at the beginning.
One of my dear friends, I'm not going to mention names because that's not how I am. She said she seems a little stiff, and I said, well, it's because she's very reserved. She's taking a reserved tone for that character. I said, that's because she's taking a reserved approach for that character, and that's a very smart thing because it helps her develop. It makes that development of the relationship between the two characters, because there is a development. It's going to happen one way or another.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to say how.
Yeah. No, of course not.
Because that's just that would just be spoiling. But there is development. It just is going to happen because they're two human beings.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And it makes it so much more, rich.
Yeah.
And also, it was Cher's first day of shooting with us.
Yeah.
So that's another reason.
Yeah.
She wasn't comfortable with me yet.
Right, exactly.
And it actually makes a lot more sense, too. And it actually showed on screen. And it also made sense in story-wise.
Oh, for sure, because, not only are you two meeting for the first time, but so is Jack and so is she, I mean, they don't know each other yet. And Jack, especially from what I took away from...
Play well with
others. Yes, he does not.
By any means of imagination.
Yeah. So I gotta ask, since what kind of the end game for this series is, are there any moments you're looking forward to the audience being able to see, and how long will we have to wait to see it?
I'm looking forward to the end game overall of the series, to see the development, like what all of how the relationship between doctor and patient ends.
Yeah.
Because she only said a few sessions. If you notice in the actual pilot,
right.
Not every single episode between the two of them is a session.
Yeah. Right.
I can say that.
Yeah. Well, interesting. So that definitely changes it a little bit.
There's more to it than that. So not every single episode is going to be a session, because they will end their relationship as doctor and patient at some point.
Right.
So there's going to be a couple of episodes in there where they're not going to be on the couch.
Well, that's good.
There are some really cool characters that have a relationship with Morris that show up here and there. We've already gotten to meet a couple of them.
For sure.
With Nicole Roberts, obviously, in the pilot, and she comes back a couple of times, and we get to hear what happens with her. We actually wrap up her storyline. I think we actually do a really good job with her.
Yeah.
Because we started in Fallen, and then we wrapped this up pretty much in Psych Files. We still leave it a little open, but overall we wrap it up, and I think we do a nice job with that.
So is it kind of one of those things where it's like...
Morris's past a little bit more. We mentioned his Vice unit past, which we had never gotten to do before.
Yeah.
That's another thing I'm looking forward to talking about a little bit more.
Definitely.
And to show his skill as an investigator. We get to show that a lot more.
Yeah.
We've gotten to show his badass skills as a fighter.
Definitely.
A warrior.
Definitely. Yeah. So, concerning Roberts and the way that you kind of did it, so is it one of those kind of things where, you left it open to where, if you have the opportunity to bring the character back, you will, but if you don't ever see the character again, there's still that, satisfying kind of, last bit of, what's going on, or is there pretty much, or do you kind of pretty much have the plan of bringing her back at some point, regardless of...
I do have a plan of bringing her back at some point.
Yeah.
I know exactly what happens to her.
Yeah. Well, of course you do.
I pretty much have
Of
everybody's
course.
plan of where they go.
Yeah. So,
Except for Jack. He's the only one I don't have I do not know the moment of his death yet.
Right.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Which.
But and also at the end of the series, there's another point I'm looking forward to. Jack gets a new partner.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So.
And also another thing, he has to deal with Kevin's death. And he connects with other people who have to deal with it, and that's something else that we deal with in the psychiatric files. We tap on that a little bit, and that's something he has to deal with as well, because he's not the only one.
Yeah, no.
Nicole's not the only one.
For sure, definitely. So
he wasn't the only one who loved him.
Going back to Jack a little bit, since you brought him up, as a writer, were there any challenges in taking, Morris's story, like from the short films to the series? Was it hard to figure out?
It was easier.
Really?
Because I got to explore his backstory more. Because in the short films, you only have a limited time to do an actual story.
Yeah.
In the series, you get to explore his backstory. You don't have to sacrifice character development for telling the story that's here and now.
Yeah.
In the short film, you have to sacrifice character. And I don't like doing that because I'm a character guy. Most of my favorite stuff is character development.
Which I imagine that kind of adds to the limitations, because with the short films, I would think that there were, you could only have it be so long, the length of it and what you could do, plus, resources as well. Like, did you have, limitations on the short films when you were filming those?
Loads.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one thing I hated about Southeastern. I had loads of limitations. I had time limits. I had limits of content.
Yeah.
I could write a litany on limitations that Southeastern had on me.
For sure.
Not just the short films I had for Cops and Cons, but just other short films that I did for them later on.
For sure.
But
well,
I did 3 while I was there.
Well, and I gotta ask, and I would never force you in a position to say anything bad about SCU, because it is the place where you kind of got your start.
I wouldn't be forced.
Yeah. But what would you say that was kind of a downfall of, that whole experience, was having all of those limitations?
I
what is
think it limited some creativity for some people. Some people really thrived in that environment. I think it was limiting for me. It gave me the opportunity to explore. I think it helped teach me what not to do.
Yeah.
Rather than... Yeah. It taught me that I am not meant to be a quote-unquote Christian filmmaker. I am not meant to be in the arena of people who do films like Fireproof.
For sure. For sure.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Give me a film like Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Throw me in that arena.
Exactly.
I will thrive there.
Yeah.
Let me run rampant with a film like that.
Yeah.
Or the original Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Or Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. Let me run in there. I will have a ball.
For sure.
But if you throw me in something like Fireproof or Facing the Giants, well, those guys, they made a film.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't make what standards of good filmmaking.
Definitely. Definitely. So, I gotta ask, is there anything that you want viewers of the series to take away from the psychiatric files once it's over? Because, is there like an overall message you're trying to convey? Is it with it, or
Imagine how much work I did with the most I spent on this series was $450 on my camera.
Yeah. Wow.
Imagine if there are corporate bigwigs who see this series. Imagine what I could do if you gave me $1,000 for a season.
Yeah, for sure.
One season.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're feeling really generous, give me $10,000 for the season. And I'm very frugal about what I do. I'm very, very cautious.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a good thing.
And I just have to work on my terms.
For sure.
And I worked very hard on it through a lot of generosity, and I had to be very careful about what I did. I was fighting time and money, mostly time, but
Since
also
you,
money.
well, again, going back to
But,
the whole limitations stuff, like, what was it like trying to find like places to film at and stuff? You know,
generosity, man.
yeah,
I am very thankful that I have a very generous church community.
yeah,
I had a lot of friends. I'll give a brief example. In episode 9, there's a scene we shot in this restaurant. The restaurant allowed us to shoot there for free. All they asked was that they get us. I told them, I'll give you a special thanks in the credits. They were thrilled with that.
yeah,
They just said, well, could we just seal off? And I said, that's fine.
yeah, for sure.
And we got a couple from our church came in and shot with, and were extras with us.
Oh, that's fun.
And I was going to buy lunch for everybody.
Yeah.
That couple, they paid for lunch for the entire cast and crew.
Oh, wow.
I didn't ask them.
Wow. Yeah. That's really
So
nice.
they got
Wow.
they're getting executive producer credits in that episode.
For sure.
I didn't yet ask.
Yeah. I think.
I just came in, and I'm so blessed by just a generous community, and I've been relying on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Ever since.
For sure.
And I just try to. I just give credit where it's due, and if for any young filmmakers out there, just give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Sometimes give a little extra credit.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
way
So.
they'll come back and help you later. Believe me.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Treat your actors with respect. But if they treat you with disrespect and they burn your bridge, that don't fly.
No.
With me, anyway.
Right. Exactly.
There are such a thing as blacklists.
Yeah. So now, when you get done,
Directors have them.
yeah.
I don't think I'm on any director's blacklist.
Hopefully not.
I try not to be.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So when Psychiatric Files is finally over, and the last episode is up, and everyone can see it and whatnot, and I kind of got two questions for you. One, are you planning on taking any kind of break? And two, what's your next move with trying to get ready for, because you said you've got, like a franchise in mind, so I imagine you've got other things planned. So what does that look like for you? I mean, how are you going to raise funds? What is kind of your plans?
It depends on what's going on at that point. By the time Psychiatric Files is done, I'm hopefully going to have the Christmas. I'm working on for lack of a better term, a Christmas special, the short film.
Yeah.
Hopefully going to release that a little bit after the Psychiatric Files, because I'm hoping that the last frame of the Psychiatric Files leads into the Christmas special.
For sure. For sure.
So I'm working on that. I'm actually going to be finishing up some pre-production stuff on that this weekend.
Oh, cool.
So I'm working on that. After I'm going to be shooting the Christmas special this May. I know, Christmas in May.
Yeah.
So weird.
Well, hey, there's a lot of people that celebrate Christmas in July. So I suppose if you can do that,
well, what you gonna do? I'm hopefully gonna get it all shot in May.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Definitely.
I'm gonna try. It's gonna be a little difficult, but we'll do our best.
For sure. For sure.
We'll have. I'm pretty sure we could probably get most of it shot in May.
Yeah.
It's a very good. I'm really happy. I'm actually very excited for the script. And we're gonna have a lot of the cast so far is just fabulous.
Yeah.
So I'm hopefully gonna have that done, and I can use Psych Files and the Christmas special and be like, look what I've done with very little to no budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just keep using it as like basically a corporate presentation.
For sure.
For people to be like, look, this could be a really good investment.
Yeah.
And it would be tax deductible, so that'd be really nice for them and for me.
Well, hey, it worked out for those lights out people, right? So I mean, it's gotta work for you too. I mean, I imagine, I mean, they did that horror short film, and now we're getting a lights out movie. Not that far away. So I definitely think that's a good plan ahead. Now is
and
there?
Also, I'm not just wanting to do cops and cons.
Yeah.
As much as I love Jack Morris, he does get tiresome.
Yeah.
He's cranky all the time.
Yeah.
I do have another script I'm tweaking right now. After I've done work with a Christmas special, I'm probably going to be tweaking that while I'm working on the Christmas special while I'm shooting it.
Very cool.
I'm working on another script. I already have an idea for it written. I'm probably going to be tweaking it to be a little bit more palatable. Because right now it's not to my liking at the moment.
Yeah, well, you definitely got to get into that place.
I'm probably going to have a couple more of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Work on another 2 movies of that, and then see what goes on from there.
Yeah, well, that kind of you kind of answered my next question for you. I was going to ask you, what's your plans for Altogether Productions, and if there's any other projects you're working on. But that pretty much answers that. So.
I read minds too.
Yes.
I'm that powerful. No,
yeah.
I wish. No, I don't actually.
Yeah. So I guess the last thing I'll ask you then, once it gets closer to the last episode coming out, I would love to have you on again when more of the series is out and you kind of can talk more openly about what's happening and stuff.
I'm like, no, I can't tell spoilers.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
But
we could do possible suggestion. I mean, it's your show, so I won't tell you how to run it. But I could hop on halfway and then hop on at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I want to do, a possible idea I've been running around in my head about, was have kind of a public event for the last episode, the absolute last one, because our crew has worked their butts off.
For sure, definitely.
They worked so hard to bring the last episode together, because it's going to be the longest episode.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going into it.
Yeah.
And we wanted to kind of have a thank you for them, and they did such work.
Well, that's nice. Well, that's cool. I think that'll be a very...
And we were going to have a Q&A and cool things like that, and also sell DVDs.
For sure. Definitely. So...
and kind of start funding the next
for sure. Well, speaking of funding, do you have any plans of setting up like a GoFundMe or anything online as well for people to donate at? Because...
I'm still looking at options.
Right.
About that, I'm not going to say for sure on anything like that, because I need to do more research, because I want to do things smart.
For sure, definitely. And well, yeah, because
I want to be a good businessman.
Yeah, because everything works better.
Like
different things.
Presidential candidate who bankrupted 4 businesses before he was 50.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, so when you get that figured out, let me know, and so you viewers at home know when he knows. He'll let me know, and then I will give you guys the link to go help him out if you enjoy the series and you want to, add to the success of this really great story that Steven is telling. And, I got to say, this has been a really enjoyable podcast and interview with you. Is there any last things you want to say before we close this thing off?
If you guys have any questions, I do have Facebook pages for Altogether Productions.
Yeah.
Cops and Cons and Psychiatric Files, and also the new project, Cops and Cons Mercy Miles.
Yep.
So you can go check those out, and also our YouTube page, Altogether Productions.
Yep.
So you can check those out, and if you want to contact us there, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, threats, we won't take those. Comments, we will take.
Yeah.
And you can subscribe and check us out and have a gander at what we've been working on. And I even have a little bit of a blog I've been working on. I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah. If you think of the link, yeah.
And you can look that up, and you can look at my insanity.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it's it's coming to me. Give me a moment. It's right there.
I hate when that happens. It's like right there on the tip of your tongue.
It'll come to me later. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just send me the link. Yeah, guys. This has been really enjoyable for me to get to talk to Steven, and we haven't gotten to do this in a while, and it's really exciting to see where it's going. And and like he said, please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's get this thing really going. Let's get as many viewers, spread this thing around, because it's so good. And I think once you get into this thing, you're gonna want to know how this all turns out. And let me tell you, I know a little bit, and this thing is incredible. You're gonna want to see where this thing goes. Go subscribe, go support them, go check out the links. I'll have them all in the description of this video on here. And by the way, the last thing I'll say before I close this off is, I know I've got this on YouTube right now. I don't have any plans of putting this up on iTunes, so feel free to download this and listen to it on your MP3 player if you need to. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and hope you'll come back next week for the next episode, which I hope Steven will be able to join me again for.
I should be able to.
Yeah, definitely. So I will...
More insanity.
More insanity. Definitely. So I will see you guys on the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys on the next cast. Peace out.